For a little over a year now, my uncle's family has been doing really well. Work has been steady, money has been coming in consistently, and it rarely leaks out the way it used to. They are not stuck scrambling and pinching every penny like before anymore. And every time I stop by my uncle's house, I always notice the kitchen. It is kept very clean and discreet, with nothing left out in the open. Everything is arranged in a way that feels tucked away, not exposed to view. Now, I cannot say for sure that every change started because of the kitchen, but based on the Feng Shui knowledge I have studied for years, when a kitchen is set up like that, wealth is more likely to accumulate, opportunities tend to show up more often, and the health of everyone in the family can gradually improve. So, if you are also hoping for better finances and better health for your family, today's video will help you find ways to attract luck and money, starting right from your own small kitchen. Now, let's get started. In Feng Shui, the kitchen holds the most important status. It is seen as the treasure vault, meaning the place that stores wealth, and it is also the space that regulates life energy for the entire family line. If the living room is the face of the home and the bedroom is the place of rest and retreat, then the kitchen is the organ that renews life energy, the place that keeps the flame of happiness and determines long-term prosperity. On top of that, the way fire and water are arranged and used here is often used to predict the homeowner's overall fortune, because this is the center where the 5 elements are balanced, keeping harmony between practical, everyday function and strict metaphysical principles. According to 8 Mansions' Bright Realm, the cooking stove represents nourishment, and it plays the role of the strongest fire guardian in the home. When the flame rises, it works like an energy filter, burning away negative and dirty energy and transforming it into clean, positive energy that sustains everyone in the household. That is why designing a kitchen with good Feng Shui is an art of arrangement that aims for the state of blocking harsh winds and gathering energy. When you truly understand how these energy flows interact, you can help luck build up, prevent financial loss, and make sure the home's energy circulation stays stable and lasting. So what does a kitchen look like when it truly holds on to wealth and nurtures the family's health? Right after this, we will go into the core standards, so you can evaluate and adjust your own kitchen in a way that leads to more stability and prosperity. What kind of kitchen brings wealth and good health? Standard number 1, a kitchen that blocks the bad and welcomes the good. In Feng Shui, the sit on bad, face good principle is a key foundation for a family's rise or decline because it controls the power of fire. It means placing the stove in the home's unfavorable area to use strong fire energy to suppress negative energy, while positioning the stove opening toward a favorable direction to draw in positive energy and luck. It is basically fighting fire with fire, turning negativity into a shield that protects both health and finances. Under the 5 elements, the kitchen is associated with fire, which is linked to cleansing and clearing things away. When the stove sits in unfavorable sectors like deathly fate, 6 killings, 5 ghosts, or misfortune and harm, the flame works like an energy filter, using negative energy to neutralize negative energy. Burning off heavy energy in those areas helps relieve pressure throughout the home's energy flow, reduces health risks, and prevents strange money losses. In the 8 Mansions' Bright Realm, placing the stove in favorable sectors like vital energy or heavenly blessing is considered a major mistake, because the fire ends up burning the very blessings it should protect, leading to reputation issues, money that never seems to stay, and declining health. Kitchen direction is usually defined as the direction behind the cook while cooking, or the direction from the stove mouth facing outward. The best direction should be chosen based on the main provider's age element and Bartrach life group to support long-term financial stability. People in the East life group often do best when the stove faces east, south, north, or southeast, while the stove sits in directions belonging to the West group. For people in the West Life group, a common guideline is placing the stove in the east or southeast, with the stove facing west or northwest. When the stove is placed correctly, it supports faster wealth building and a more peaceful home. But if the stove is placed incorrectly, like sitting on the vital energy sector, which is strongly tied to health and children, it can burn up that good fortune, creating stress around family care and finances that feel unstable. Standard number 2, a kitchen that keeps the flame by balancing water and fire. The relationship between the stove's fire and water sources like the sink, refrigerator, and washing machine is one of the trickiest parts of interior Feng Shui. Water and fire naturally clash, and if the balance is wrong, fire energy gets blocked, which is believed to harm the homeowner's career and progress. A common layout rule is a minimum gap of 60 centimeters, which is about 24 inches, to keep water and fire from interfering with each other. In tight spaces, it should never drop below 45 centimeters, which is about 18 inches, because putting the stove too close to water is said to weaken the fire, making it hard for wealth to grow. Avoid the two waters squeezing one stove setup, meaning the stove placed between a sink and a refrigerator or washing machine. This is considered a major taboo because water energy presses down on fire energy, which is believed to trigger financial instability and quiet, lingering tension in a marriage. If you cannot change the layout, one fix is using the water feeds wood, wood feeds fire idea. Place a wood element between the stove and sink, like a small green plant or wooden item. That way, water energy is drawn into supporting wood instead of directly attacking fire, turning conflict into a smoother cycle and helping the kitchen stay warm and hold energy. As for the refrigerator, it is often seen as carrying both water and metal energy. Since fire clashes with metal and water clashes with fire, placing it right next to the stove can create chaotic energy that wears down the person who cooks most often. A better solution is building a wooden frame or a built-in cabinet around the refrigerator. Wood energy acts like a buffer, softening the stove's harsh energy and stabilizing the family's food storage vault. If the space forces them to be close, you can add a drywall partition to block direct interaction between the energy flows. This kind of barrier helps fire energy stay steady and stops water energy from overpowering it, keeping the money flow smoother before you even get to optimizing cabinet shapes. If the layout cannot be changed, an alternative solution is to implement the principle water nourishes wood and wood nourishes fire. You can place wooden items, like a green plant or a wooden decorative piece, between the stove and the sink to help channel the water energy into wood instead of directly attacking the fire. This supports the flow of energy in a more harmonious way, stabilizing the energy in the kitchen and promoting warmth and prosperity. In the case of tight spaces where the stove and water sources cannot be separated, adding a wooden structure like a frame or partition helps neutralize the conflicting energies. This ensures that the fire energy remains strong and the water energy does not overpower it. Additionally, strategically using wood elements can help balance the two opposing forces, creating a better environment for both financial stability and family harmony. Standard number 3. A kitchen with steady energy flow that can still gather and stay. The shape of your kitchen cabinets acts like energy pathways, deciding how energy moves and whether it can collect. I-shaped, L-shaped, and U-shaped kitchens are often judged by how well they guide positive energy inward instead of letting it rush out. A lucky kitchen is one where energy moves smoothly without harsh head-on collisions or being trapped in dead corners. With an I-shaped kitchen, energy runs in a straight line and can rush too fast, which is linked to money slipping away. A common way to improve it is placing the sink in the middle between the refrigerator and the stove to balance the 5 elements and break up that long, straight energy path. The distance between the stove and the sink should ideally be 60 to 80 centimeters, which is about 24 to 31 inches, so the fire is not put out too suddenly, and the main cook's health and mood are better supported. Using built-in cabinets or sliding doors to hide appliances when not in use also helps keep the space visually clean, which is believed to keep the energy clearer too. An L-shaped kitchen, set along two perpendicular walls, is great for flexibility and smoother energy mixing. It creates the golden triangle between the stove, sink, and refrigerator. For steady movement, the ideal distance between each point is about 120 to 270 centimeters, which is roughly 47 to 106 inches. The biggest advantage of the L shape is that the stove and sink can sit on different sides, removing direct water versus fire conflict and supporting a calmer home. At the corner where the two sides meet, using a smart rotating corner shelf helps prevent dust and stale energy from building up in hidden spots, keeping the kitchen's energy flow open. The strongest layout for holding wealth is often said to be a U-shaped kitchen. It surrounds the cook on three sides, symbolizing a solid treasure vault. This shape naturally gathers heat and positive energy toward the center, reducing the feeling that good fortune can leak out. But to avoid making the space feel trapped or stuffy, the center aisle should be about 1.53 to 2.4 meters wide, which is about 5 to 7.9 feet, so energy and movement do not get stuck. Symmetry also helps, like placing larger appliances such as an oven or range hood in the center, with other items balanced on both sides. This is believed to create stronger stability and attract wealth more powerfully. If your kitchen is large enough, adding a center island is a great option. The island works like an energy stop, helping good energy slow down and stay longer instead of rushing away, which supports lasting prosperity in the kitchen. Once you understand what a kitchen looks like when it truly attracts wealth and supports health, you also need to pay attention to a few taboos in kitchen setup so you do not accidentally drain money or disrupt the family's daily life. The major taboos you need to avoid. Group 1. Fast money loss. In home layout Feng Shui, keeping the wealth vault protected is just as important as attracting good energy. Structural mistakes and bad sight lines can become big leaks, making money disappear no matter how hard the family works. The most common example is peach root pass, meaning you can see the stove straight from the front door. There is an old saying, "Open the door and see the stove, and money is easily lost." The kitchen represents privacy and stored wealth, so when it is exposed right at the entrance, outside energy rushes in, disrupts it, and fortune scatters quickly. Spiritually speaking, it also feels like inviting outsiders to peek into your finances, which can lead to gossip and unnecessary money trouble. Another rule is that the kitchen floor should be level with or lower than the living room floor. Energy and fortune are believed to flow from higher to lower and settle on flat, stable ground. If the kitchen is built higher than the main living areas, the wealth created in that vault is said to slide back out, leading to an unstable home life and money that is hard to hold on to. That height difference can act like an invisible slope, pushing luck away instead of letting it stay. To fix peach root pass, use something that blocks the direct line of sight, like a decorative divider, a bar counter, or a fabric curtain, creating a private buffer, so wealth energy stays inside instead of slipping out through the front door line. If the kitchen floor is higher, the best fix is adjusting the flooring to match the main floor, symbolizing wealth stored in a solid vault instead of spilling out of control. Keeping the floor height reasonable is often seen as a first step toward more money coming in and less money draining away, creating a stable path forward for the whole family. Group 2. Health harm. In residential Feng Shui, the stove represents nourishment and the life source of the household. When the kitchen faces spaces with opposite energy, it can create reversing energy that wears down both health and mood. A typical example is a stove facing a bedroom door, creating a fire burning into rest situation, where hot fire energy rushes into a space that should be calm. This imbalance can make people feel irritable, anxious, and sleep poorly. From a Feng Shui view, long-term fire intrusion can weaken breathing and strain the nervous system due to constant internal heat. A stove facing a bathroom is another major issue because it creates a water versus fire clash between a clean nourishment zone and a space that holds waste energy. The kitchen is considered a clean fire space, while the bathroom is tied to heavy yin water energy. When the doors face each other, that heavy air can drift toward food prep, polluting the daily energy the family takes in. This conflict is believed to quietly damage health and increase family tension over time. For a kitchen facing a bedroom door, keeping the door closed most of the time is the first and simplest step, slowing the spread of heat energy into the resting space. For a kitchen facing a bathroom door, installing an automatic closer so the door stays shut is strongly recommended. Another traditional fix is hanging a brass gourd in front of the bathroom door with a narrow neck and wide body. It is believed to collect and neutralize negative air before it reaches the kitchen. Handling these clashes helps keep nourishment energy clean, supporting a stronger body and steadier long-term fortune. Group 3. Sharp pressure energy. Beyond balancing the 5 elements, pressure from surrounding architecture is often overlooked, but can be very damaging. Heavy, pressing, or piercing structures can create fast-moving, harsh energy, making the kitchen unable to gather and hold energy, and placing serious stress on the main cook. A classic case is the stove directly under a beam, sometimes described as a beam pressing down. The beam acts like a weight, pushing energy downward, which is believed to cause chronic headaches and lingering health issues, especially affecting women in the household because the fire energy is suppressed, leading to a gloomy, burdened mood. Harsh energy can also come from sharp corners of countertops or walls pointing into the cooking zone, forming knife-like energy that cuts through the flow, harming health and triggering conflict among family members. Similarly, a long hallway or balcony aiming straight into the kitchen can create a piercing arrow effect, where energy rushes too fast and hits the stove like a projectile. This can destabilize the fire energy, making finances feel shaky and harder to build up, and is also linked in Feng Shui to issues tied to circulation and pressure, including high blood pressure. To reduce beam pressure, the best fix is a dropped drywall ceiling that fully hides the beam and creates a smooth, even plane, so energy passes gently instead of collecting into harshness. If the structure cannot be changed, hanging a set of 5-petal coins at the beam location is a traditional method meant to disperse the compressed energy. For sharp corners, rounding the edges or placing green plants as a shield helps soften the cutting effect and turn harsh energy into gentler flow. For a straight hallway aiming into the kitchen, a screen or a line of Feng Shui plants can slow the energy down, forcing it to curve before entering. These strategic pauses help the flame stay steady, protect the wealth vault, and keep the cook feeling calmer and safer. Group 4. A flame with no support. In traditional Eastern home design, energy gathers best when it has a solid backing, often called a support behind. The stove, a symbol of wealth and warmth, should not sit in an open spot with no support or with wind hitting from behind, because that creates unstable energy, making money gather and then scatter. A common modern mistake is placing the stove in front of a window or leaving a large open gap behind it. In traditional principles, the stove should sit on something solid and face open space, meaning the back of the stove should lean against a strong wall so wealth does not get shaken. If there is a window behind the stove, outside airflow can directly disturb the flame. Spiritually, the flame represents vitality and earning power, so an unsteady flame suggests financial ups and downs, while the cook's health can also suffer because messy airflow pushes unstable energy in from behind. That empty space behind the stove can also act like an energy vacuum, where good energy gathers briefly and then gets swept away, weakening the kitchen's ability to hold fortune. This can show up as trouble managing money and dealing smoothly with people. To fix this unsupported flame problem, place the stove against a solid, closed wall. Brick and solid walls are linked to earth energy, which supports fire and helps stabilize it. If a window is already behind the stove, move the stove to the side so the back is not directly lined up with the window frame, redirecting airflow so wind cannot hit the flame head-on. If the space is too tight to move it, using thick curtains and keeping them closed while cooking is an urgent and practical fix. The curtain acts like a temporary energy wall, blocking wind and helping the kitchen hold warmth and fortune, while protecting the family's health with a stronger Feng Shui backing. At the end of the day, Feng Shui is about balance between people and the space they live in. A thoughtfully arranged kitchen supports the cook's mindset and keeps warmth in every meal. And when the home feels calm, both wealth and health have a natural foundation to grow steadily. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments, and we will tackle them together in the next videos. Bye for now, and see you next time.